please welcome Okta's Chief Marketing Officer, Carrie Oak.
Hello, Oktane. How are we doing? Well, officially, I am so happy to welcome all of you to Oktane. Oktane is Okta's biggest event of the year, and I am absolutely thrilled to be kicking things off with all of you tonight. Whether you are one of our valued customers, our partners, or one of our Oktanauts from around the globe, we're gonna have a good time this week. We have thought leaders, we have guest speakers, we have a very special one about to come out, and we have some of the brightest minds in technology all here this week to focus on AI security and the latest and greatest in identity. But before we get started, I really want to make sure I say a huge heartfelt thank you to our sponsors. We would not be able to do all we do with Oktane without you, so thank you. It's also my pleasure to talk a little bit about just one project. You will notice, especially if you go to the welcome reception tonight, that we are not giving out swag this year at Oktane. And the reason for that is because instead we are investing in just one project. Just One Project is an organization that is focused on community and connection by providing fresh food, resources, and wraparound services to the greater Southern Nevada community, okay? So I hope you all, when you go to the welcome reception, you go there and you help us pack up those bags, and we'll get them to people in need, all right? Now, it's about time for me to bring out a very special guest to kick things off here at Oktane. Now, at Oktane, I think you all know, we're talking a lot this week around what's possible with AI and AI technology. But when we really dive into bigger stories around what's possible, oftentimes it goes beyond technology. It goes into stories that are truly about the depths of human spirit. And that's truly what our next guest embodies. Our next guest is a two-time Academy Award nominee. And you might know his work from things like Mayor of Kingstown, Hurt Locker, or the Marvel franchise as an Avenger. Now for me, I first saw him in The Town, and that is when I really fell in love with his work and became a huge fan. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm probably equal parts excited and nervous, but we're gonna have a lot of fun. So the other thing that I wanna make sure we all know about this individual is that he has had an incredible journey in his life. And most recently, he has put on a master class in the power of resilience and taking action. And really, every breath he takes, every step he takes, it's truly showing us that anything is possible. So with that, Oktane, let's give the warmest of welcomes to the one, the only, Mr. Jeremy Renner.
Everybody, wow, this is a big room.
Jeremy and I were talking backstage, and I was like, we're gonna have an intimate chat in front of 4,000 of our friends. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's security people, right? I feel so secure. It's amazing. I think I have to hire some of these people.
Yeah, well, gotta be careful though. No taking any of our Oktanauts, right?
That's
so,
right, that's right.
All right, well, Jeremy, we're so excited to have you here. And I have a whole stack of questions at the ready, but let's start with something a little bit easier, all right?
Okay.
How was your summer?
How was my summer? It was nice. I got to spend time with my family. In order to spend time with my family these days, it's in my foundation, the nonprofit foundation called Renovation Foundation. Serves at-risk kids and foster youth here in Nevada for now. And so we had lots of camps. so I spent a lot of time at camps with a bunch of amazing kids this summer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read a little bit about that in your book, at the end of your book.
Okay,
yeah. Yeah, that's really amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, well, we all want to know about what it was like in those early days of Hollywood, right? At the early days of your career. So why don't we go there and just, what was it like when you started acting?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's, I mean, look, let's just, I play make-believe for a living, okay? So I was a kid when I discovered this crazy career, or just crazy desire, I suppose, for as a career. I didn't find acting until I went to college. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so I went to a local JC to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do with my life, you know? I think a lot of kids don't know. I think I got very lucky at 18 to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my life. And my father, he was working in the school systems. He was at Cal State Stanislaus in Turlock. And so he just advised me to take X amount of classes so that were transferable to a four-year college. I got accepted to a bunch of different colleges, but I told him he couldn't afford for me to go to any school, and nor could I, or my mom. So I just went to local JC. He said, so take this class, your math or science, or things that transfer. He said, the rest of it though, just go try stuff and fail. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, just take whatever course and just try it. Even if you don't have interest or not, you don't know. Just go try things and fail. Who cares? And so I did. So I took the 9 units, whatever, then I took the rest. I ended up taking 26 units, and I tried a bunch of different courses, and one of them was an acting class. I knew nothing about acting, but I said, okay, I'll try it. Why not? Let me go fail. And I didn't fail in that one, and that one stuck. And then I switched to theater and psychology as a double major. Both those kind of helped my personal life as well as work together in creating characters and human behavior and that type of thing. And then it really kind of took off from there. So that's where it kind of started. And then, work kind of shows where I've been and what I've done. And I've been blessed to play make-believe for, 30 some odd years, It's been pretty amazing. Yeah. Pretty blessed. And that's not easy, but it's not easy, right? There's so many struggles of starving and eating at $5 a month and blah, blah, blah. But, those are all the good things that make the milestones have great value and have great bite and great memory. All those amazing struggles. I love a good struggle. I really do. Because I think every struggle, there's been some reward. There's a relief of the struggle. If it's an ongoing struggle, I think just being a human on planets, that's a real struggle in general. But just basic life struggles, I think there's always a great relief, and that great relief of adversity is the wonderful payoff. It's not an award, it's not recognition, it's not fame. It's that wonderful payoff, that relief, I think, is the greatest sort of value I get from things in life.
I love that, and I love that advice that your dad gave you of just go fail at things.
Yeah, well, because there's a lot of parents, obviously want them to go succeed, right? That's where you don't want to disappoint your parents, and I think he relieved me of that, wanting to, that was my first relief was like, look, nobody can afford to get me to the school, even though I almost a 3.9 GPA and all these things, but I didn't want to go into debt, not knowing what I was passionate for. He's like, well, that makes sense. I can't argue with that. So, but again, my dad that was the greatest advice he ever gave me, and allowed me to go succeed, really, by not putting any pressure on myself to not fail.
Yeah, that's absolute freedom in that. All right, well, in your book, I think it actually relates to a lot you're talking about, where you like the struggle, you learn through all of that. You talk a lot about the power of action. Like, that seems to be a central theme from early days in your life. Can you talk about that? Like, where does that come from? Well,
I think it's learned, right? It's action, when it's in reference to the book, it's about survival, It's about not dying. But prior to that, its real course of its action is the opposite of complacency or inaction, right? I repel complacency. As a kid, I mean, I don't know who welcomes it. I don't think anybody in this room would be here if they welcomed complacency in their life, or that's the primary sort of focus, you know, or inaction. We're not here, right? You're certainly not in business, you're certainly not amongst the world and what's happening, right? So I think action requires courage, it requires overcoming obstacles. I find great joy in overcoming obstacles. I love it. I love it. A lot of times obstacles I put in my own dang way, you know? And being able to recognize pathways around. Like I found like fluidity being a wonderful word to move around an obstacle instead of butting up against it, fighting it. Like move, just, you know, I found just different ways to kind of get through things in life. And like action is everything, right? It's what we are. it's what our heartbeat is. You know? So yeah, but in the book, it's referring to real choices you have to make, you know. And there's like losing a limb or an eye, and course to move forward or not, you know. Perception is the only way we have control of our life in perpetuity, unless we go mad, which hopefully we don't. But I find that the action and courage and all these things, these wonderful verbs, you know, that is what we are. That's our life force, isn't it? Right? So I think it defines a lot of who we are. And I'll let my actions speak louder than any of my words.
Well, I can say firsthand, we were talking a little bit about this, and if you read the book, I definitely recommend the audio version because you do a great job narrating. But I was telling Jeremy that when I'm in the gym trying to work out, or when I'm, you know, going for a run or a walk, I was listening to him, and it works really well to keep going. I'm like, well, if he was going through all this, I can definitely run this extra mile. You helped me with my motivation, so thank you.
Yeah, it's very, very helpful. Hey, I listened to it too. I have to re-listen to all the blessings that were given me through going through some great adversity. You know, when someone's tested to their limits, not a lot of people are. I got lucky. I got tested to my limits of life or death. And there's great rewards if you survive it. That is. There are those that haven't. Yeah. I got lucky somehow, some way.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the Marvel universe. Do we have any Marvel fans in here? Yeah. Any Avenger fans? Yeah. Okay, I think you have, you know, definitely an audience here that fits this. But I can only imagine what it must have been like landing the role of Hawkeye, becoming a part of Avengers, and what that journey was like in the beginning, and you know, the many years throughout, and where it is now. So can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, that's a, you know, a great. It was a really special time in my life when that came around, because the Hurt Locker, it just got nominated for an Academy Award. It won a bunch of awards. First female director to ever win an Academy Award won for that movie. It was a very proud sort of time. And then that came around. The Marvel Universe came around. And no one really knew outside Iron Man came out, and that was awesome. I'm a big fan of that. And to jump into a role I knew nothing really about, we all, you know, when we all got together for the first movie, the first Avengers, we shot it in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I remember we had to all get dressed and parade in front of all the executives. Like we're all action figures or something. Like, it was so weird, man. And we're meeting, and a lot of us kind of knew each other but no one saw each other in costume. No one knew what we were gonna look like. And so some of us knew each other a little bit before, and so we're just kind of saying hi. It was like a Halloween party. It sort of felt like. And I'm playing with Thorne's rubber hammer, and he has a Valtaic. It's so weird. Whatever it was bizarre. So anyway, we're just kind of walking around and parading, like posing for all these, like, who knows who they were. It felt kind of weird and transactional, but so it goes from this like really weird, and we're like, you know, are we really doing this? Is this really like a real thing? It's like, And then it moves into obviously what it did, even culturally, like what a phenomenon it's really kind of become globally. Took 22 films to make the 23rd to Endgame, right? Pretty amazing. Usually that's done in like television or something, but to do it in a big global platform, pretty amazing. It took a great audience to make that happen, right? The great success of any film requires people to watch it, and a lot of people watched that stuff, didn't they? And for us personally, I could tell you, man, to go to a job that you love and then to work with the same people over and over again doesn't happen very often. Or know you have a job in the future, it doesn't happen, not in the entertainment industry, because you still have to have audiences to want to come in. It's not a guarantee, right? So we kind of had guarantees coming along. It was doing pretty well for about 13, 14, 15 years, right? It's pretty awesome. So, wow, there's been marriages and divorces and kids being birthed and all these sort of things happening amongst these original 6 Avengers. We've had a family chat for a good 13 years, I think. And it's wonderful to have a shared experience with other people in life that it's weird from our perspective. It's a really strange experience. It's like being in a car crash all together. It's you have to kind of go through it together to really understand. You can't tell somebody about what was it like, And it's pretty amazing, I mean, a car crash is probably a bad analogy, but like it's something that we could, because it's really quite beautiful. It's pretty much only been good times for all of us. It's, I speak to them. We speak a lot. I just got to visit them in London. They're shooting Doom, whatever it's called. Dr. Doom, whatever that stuff. I don't know. I'm the worst guy to ask.
I'm sure the audience knows.
They might know. I don't know that stuff. But and I wasn't there filming. I was there on a book tour. So there you go.
Oh, well, good. Well,
now you know.
Now I know. And I can imagine it's a wholly unique experience that group has. Well, we talked about your Avengers family.
Yes.
Now I wanted to talk about family, and you talk about family a lot. I've heard you talk about it. I've read about it in your book, and what struck me is it's very clear the deep love you have for your family and that they have for you. And one of the things I wonder about, because I struggle with this, I have 2 young kids and a very demanding job, and the balance between work and family and all of that, it's work all the time. So how have you been able to balance the time and the focus on your family with the work that you do?
Well, it's pretty difficult, very divisive. My job is like a carnival, traveling carnival. And it's like if you're a pilot, it's difficult. You have to really work on it. And there are times where I didn't get to see them very often. It wasn't until I had my child, I mean, first because I left everybody from Modesto, California down to Los Angeles by myself. I was the firstborn of 7. Off to go pursue a career in acting that no one knew what the heck that was about, right? So people are used to allowing me to kind of disappear for time, but I always come back and be a touchstone. My family is always a touchstone for me. And then having a lot of great successes and that unites all the family together has been rewarding. Then having my own child when I was 42 when I had Ava, who's now 12, that became been my number 1 priority. Family is always important to me, but having my daughter, that's the greatest role I've ever had to date, is being a father. And nothing is going to get in the way of that. Not one job. I don't care about any Avenger movie, any movie whatsoever. I got to deal with real reality, not fiction. So having her as my priority, kind of it limited sort of work for me, but that's fine. I get to have the loving relationship I have, even with the 12-year-old girl. It's still pretty loving still. So even though she's my number 1, I might not be her number 1 at this point, but that's okay. She'll come back. At least that's what I'm told.
I have a 12-year-old daughter as well, Jeremy, so
there you go.
I feel
yeah. So yeah, and then so having that as a great priority, again, what a great saving grace to have her come into my life. It's there's a moment kind of one of the greater moments ever happened to me was her birth. And I had been around births with my sisters and blah, 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 but like having my own daughter and having her come out, there's a thing called the Palmer's reflex. The little kid that's just been inside of a womb for 9 months or so comes out and they can grab your finger like a strong adult. Oh, Palmer's reflex. She grabs his finger and all of a sudden, kind of life stopped for a minute. And as she took her first breath, I see, I get it. I get it now. If I do right by her, we'll be in this exact same position as I take my last breath. And so then I caught the sort of, I found out what real love was. And I didn't expect to have that experience, right? But how I grew from that, and then how I grew as a man from that, how my environment changed, how my purpose changed, right? You feel great purpose as a parent, or at least I did. Yeah. And with that, life began. And then, my connection to my family obviously is strong, and always even more strong when you have a beautiful little daughter and everyone really wants to come around and get a lot more attention. And yeah, man, I got much closer obviously to the family because family unites a lot more when you have family. I was just a cool uncle that got invited to stuff prior, but now that I have a daughter, it became pretty central to the family in a lot of ways. And then, then maybe 12 years later, it was a couple years ago when the accident happened, the family was very, very tight, very, very close. But then the New Year's Day sort of incident, where everyone had to, endure what I put upon them. It's wonderful how everyone responded and how we united and helped me get through one of the toughest days and times of my life. And we are rewarded with a deeper sense of the already deep love that we share together. And family love is family love, right? We don't get to choose our family members, right? I have a chosen family, and then I have my family. And if I could choose my family, I would choose each and every one of those MFers, man. I love them so deeply. And all the quirks that come with them, but we always work through it, and that's what's great about the diversity of my family, which is really huge. It's really quite obscene. For us to go out to dinner, I have to get a bus. Like, no joke. I own buses because it's like 20, 25 deep everywhere I go. Yeah. It's crazy. I'm like, no one's using birth control. Right? I mean, come on. I have one child, okay? I'm done. Anyway, so there's such deep, deep love we have for each other. Even like I mentioned earlier about the foundation I have. My sister works in DCFS, Child Protective Services, for LA County. And then one of my best girlfriends, Shayna Rogers, she's here actually tonight somewhere. She does that here in Nevada. Works. She's down here in Vegas now working. But this is why I started a foundation to help foster youth. And so all my family's working now and folded into my charge to be a voice for the marginalized kids in this country. And that's how I get to see my family. But we get to share our love by doing something actionable together. That's our shared love. Now, instead of us, playing cornhole on 4th of July, we host a camp for kids and do amazing things to give them skill sets and lots of joy and love and trips to the lake and all these things. And so we did share our love by sharing it and giving it to these kids. So it seems like nuclear fusion is birth. Like our love is like the sun, and it runs hot and it runs in perpetuity for these kids, and that needed to so desperately. And we get to share it together, and it's wonderfully rewarding to relieve my sister of her really quite awful job To work in child protective services is really tough gig, man. That's a tough gig.
Well, I love that. I love how you've woven family together in it, and I often think about that as well. My son tells me all the time that when he grows up, he's going to come work at Okta. So maybe at some point, I will have something similar in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do want to shift gears, and I think many of us here in the audience can remember hearing the news about the accident that happened a few years ago on New Year's Day. And we're not going to go into the day of the accident because you can hear about that or read about that in Jeremy's book. He goes into it in detail. But I do want to talk about the resilience of what you have come out of that and so forth. So one of the questions I have is around, what was it like redefining your identity after the accident and coming back to your identity, because it was quite a journey that you were on, Jeremy?
Well, I'm not redefining anything. I'm just trying to breathe and walk and recover and all that. So I think the redefining came from, look, it was a private incident that happened on my driveway. For anybody else, it would maybe made the news or not, but it became a global sort of thing and I didn't know until I woke up. I'm like, why are people giving a heck about what happened in my driveway? I was just trying to save my nephew, right? It's nobody's damn business. But it became, such a known thing. But in doing so, which I hated at first because of being a very private person, it really paved the way for me to share a private experience publicly. And with that, that's where the redefining of relations came. That became not just some Marvel superhero, this fictional whatever. There's a humanization that came from the experience that, I was before, but I didn't have to die to become like the guy you care about. But whatever, it's some positive things that came from that, and glad that shift has happened. It's afforded me real connection. It's afforded me real purpose. It's afforded me some of the best times of my life. Being crushed to death. So all I had to do is die. Don't recommend it though. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I think you officially say in your book that if you knew it would all come out this way, that it was one of the...
Well, I would highly recommend it then.
Yeah.
But no one's...
No, he literally...
Yeah, highly recommend it. I mean, I came out great from death. However, no one's a soothsayer here, right? No one's got a crystal ball. I wouldn't take the chance.
Yeah. Well, okay. When I listened, one of the things I was struck by was you have amazing mantras. I'm gonna say these because I want to get them exactly
Sure.
right. Okay. So these are the ones that resonated with me. I'll never have a bad day for the rest of my life.
True.
Milestones over tombstones.
Yeah.
And information is what squelches fear. We are only afraid of the unknown.
Yeah.
Where does all this tenacity come from?
From a very soft mattress of love built around my family, my parents. No matter what I did, my failures, successes, rights and wrongs, I would always have a safe landing spot of love. It starts there. I don't know, I operate on that sort of level of safety in my life without sort of talking about it or understanding it. Only in talking about it, realize that, most people don't have that shit. No wonder I do the work I do for marginalized children. That pisses me off. What happens to these kids? So I have this great blessing You know, and look, my family's complicated as they come, right? They're train wrecks half of them. I love them. I love them, right? I love them for their flaws. I love them for everything that they are. But I love them that they're always. And that's what I have. So it's that tenacity comes from, at least starts from it. And also comes from, you know, education and life experiences and who I get to learn from and my surroundings and blessings and miracles and all sorts of different variables, I suppose. But there's in choices I make. There's, you know, if you can go through each and one of those, the thing with all those were before came from, I mean, some of them were because of the accident, and then some were already cemented in me from my studies in psychology and playing make-believe for a living and exploring, being courageous, failing, getting up. It's a very just find a great blessing that, you know, I'm still sitting here.
Yeah.
You know, I shouldn't be. I mean, I shouldn't be having this. I shouldn't have the success that I've had in life. You know, I don't know what it is. There's a will, right? There's directive, and there's clarity of intention. That helps. You're clear about what you want. You can take steps to manifest what you want in your life. That's pretty easy, or at least easy on paper for any of us. We spoke about, just backstage briefly, about how things are set up for us in society to be lazy, and complacent. We take the fastest way home, the quickest thing here, the cheapest thing here, just do what? Sit and do nothing. Get a clicker in your hand and do nothing. Consume, sit and do nothing. All the good things for us in life are really quite difficult. But the human mind is not really set up, and certainly society is not set up for us to challenge ourselves all the time, because challenge requires more work. Like the idea of even the cold plunge, these popular things, I hate them, by the way. Hate them. People are like, oh, you feel so good when you get out. No, you don't. No, you don't. You're just not dying anymore, dude. That's why. It doesn't feel good, you're just not dying. Your body goes right into instant, survive. It is good for you because your body releases these cold proteins, all these amazing things happen to your body internally, but you have to really shock your body. And our brains are so programmed to be so lazy. We have to do we have to work so hard to do good things. I don't know why, it's kind of frustrating, right? It's you know, it's like the idea, what if people got paid $5 to hug each other? Or I got a tax write-off to walk someone across the street that was in need. That would be happening left and right? Everywhere you look, people are just squeezing each other, you know? If kindness was a reward, right, with thoughtfulness of others, right, if that was set up, our society or capitalism is removed, you know, isn't really set up for us to really kind of say, I was kind of going off topic here, but it's just something I thought about. Something that kind of bothers me, you know?
Yeah, we need that.
Like a what ifs, you know?
Yeah, if we had the same instant gratification for kindness like we do for
right.
every other thing. Yeah,
right.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, well, a couple more. We have time for a couple more. It would not be a technology conference in 2025 if I didn't ask you a question around AI. So obligatory, here we go. So we're talking about AI a lot this week, and I think sometimes we can live in a bit of a bubble in the world that we work in security and technology. And so I would just love to hear your point of view on AI, maybe how it may be impacting the entertainment industry or personal lives. I'd love your point of view.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know some about it. I know I'm sort of more of a consumer of it, I suppose, than I am. I'm also a victim of it. And hence why I guess there's security here, which is great. What's terrifying, you know, because it's. I don't really get bothered by too many things, but the AI's really caught my attention when, you know, people are using your likeness, my likeness, for the gain of themselves and stealing from my foundation. It caught my attention then. and scamming people trying to donate to my foundation using my likeness, my face, my voice. Sending them, there's 2,500 active accounts going out with voicemails of mine or my face, my voice, and everything is looking better and better and better, as you guys all know, and scamming people out of their money. It is quite criminal. I don't really have any sort of opinions. I just have some feelings about it. You know, it's a nice place in hell for some of these guys that are doing it. You know, I'd love to meet them. But you know, so instead of having such a negative feeling towards something, I try to go to like how can we move something in a positive direction. Maybe that's maybe I got to talk to some of you people who can help. But yeah, I don't really speak on too many things I don't know about. I usually like to shut up, listen, and learn. I think I'll get to meet some people backstage after this, and maybe we can chat more about it then. You know. But I think just generally, like I think AI it can be a really great tool when used as a tool. I think it can get out of the human hands and become quite dangerous. I think that's why there's AI security. I think that's why everybody here has a job, right? That's what we're all here for. And thank God, because it needs to be monitored. But it is a great tool, like any tool, like a wheel, like a knife or anything else. It's a tool, and I think it can be great. It can also make, this is one of those things. It's gonna make us dumber, make us lazier, make it set up for us to, you know, I don't know, not be so actionable, not work for the information, not earn the information, right? We can get a little lazy. The calculator did that, right? But, you know, I'm not gonna get in the way of progress, am I?
Well, I swear I didn't prime Jeremy on his answer, but I will add a little color because you hit something that is really near and dear to me. One of the things that I get frustrated with is the nonprofit sector is actually one of the most attacked sectors. I think it's number 2 overall. Yes, Aaron is nodding.
Good, so it's not just me.
Yeah, and so, but it's unfortunate because the attackers know that they don't have as deep of IT teams and things like that because it's in the nonprofit sector. And so I will just say this is part of the work we are doing to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore, and it's very important. So I'm glad you hit on that.
Yeah. Wow, that's terrifying.
Yeah. Well, sadly, we're coming to an end, so I just have one last question for you, Jeremy. Yeah, but this has been amazing. So what's next for you? What's next for Jeremy Renner?
Ooh, what is next? There are a lot of things. A very intention-driven and purpose-driven life it's really quite simple. Just it has to be shared time with my family and loved ones, friends. And the directive of the nonprofit, which unites all my family and friends and these amazing kids. And helping that grow to be a nationwide agency. And then I'm working on the side here and there. I still got the Mayor of Kingstown that comes, there's a 4th season coming out in a month, in October. It's gonna be amazing, it's awesome. Awesome, we should send Mike McCluskey to go see some of these scammers.
I know, exactly.
It'd be great. They're gonna do another season and do a 5th season the beginning of next year. So it takes about half a year to kind of get that done. So half my year is that. And then that's all I can think of outside, you know, my sister's wedding this weekend.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, I'm hosting my sister's wedding. She's the president of she's my number 1 human who helped me back from death. And then she's like my number 1. I love her. So I get to host her wedding this weekend at my house. So
lots of buses, right? Lots of buses.
Lots of buses. Oh my goodness. There's limo golf carts. Yeah, it's pretty insane. But yeah, I'm excited, man. And I like to do these, man. This has been really wonderful. It started from the sharing about the book. I get to meet a lot of great people in a very, very real way. You know, we're like essentially in a living room with a whole lot of people. It's like a family reunion in any given year of my life. But yeah, I've been enjoying this and supporting the book, and Yeah, I know. I'm just happy to take my next breath.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be sitting here and be alive and see how much I can learn, how much I can contribute, and keep growing.
Well. Jeremy, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the work you're doing for kids here in Nevada. Like, that's amazing. Like, really, thank you. I knew this was going to be amazing. I did divulge this to Jeremy backstage. Fun fact, we share the same birthday, so it was meant to be that we'd be out here. But thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. It's love. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to Vegas.
Thank you, Jeremy. I'm going to let Jeremy go. I need you all for just a few more minutes, so hold tight. We just have a little bit more. So, how about, wasn't that an amazing conversation? So wonderful. So I found everything that Jeremy said very inspiring. And he actually hit on a point that is also something I find really inspiring, which is the work that our Okta for Good organization does. So hopefully many of you are familiar with Okta for Good, but it's the philanthropic arm of Okta, and I get the privilege of being on the board and seeing the amazing work that this team does. Now, one thing that also I hope you all know is our vision here at Okta is to free everyone to safely use any technology. But for us to be able to deliver on this vision, we have to make sure we are investing in the future of cybersecurity. There truly is just not enough cybersecurity professionals out there for what we need. And this is one of the very important missions that we work on with Okta for Good. So this is in part why we are partnering both with CodePath as well as with the UC Berkeley Cybersecurity Clinic to make sure that we are investing in this future. But you know what? Don't listen to me. Let's watch the video.
AI is changing the world of cybersecurity. Attacks are getting increasingly sophisticated, and defenses are getting increasingly sophisticated.
Okta has committed $50 million in philanthropy to build a more secure world. There is a cybersecurity talent gap of nearly 5 million professionals, and that gap is growing.
One of the biggest problems is that you can't be what you can't see. And so our job at CodePath is to bring the day-to-day of the security professional to life for the student.
I think the most surprising thing I learned about cybersecurity is that it's not black and white. Cybersecurity isn't just hacking, it isn't just passwords, it goes much further than that. Hackers and people with malicious intent impact many people's lives, many innocent people.
So the skills that we see as really important with our students are leadership, critical thinking, initiative, communication, all of the things that matter when there is a human on the other end.
Humans are at the forefront of everything that involves AI, and I think students with non-technical backgrounds are becoming an asset.
Transitioning into cybersecurity from a non-traditional background with no CS background in my undergrad was transformational. I felt like cybersecurity is a dynamic and evolving field, and it keeps me waking up in the morning to read the news and to look at the newly published vulnerabilities and exploits, and I feel like more students should consider it.
This isn't just about technology, it's about empowering and educating people. That's where Okta is truly leading. We invite everyone to join us in this essential mission.
A successful and well-equipped cybersecurity workforce needs everyone's participation. And so the more we all know about what it takes to defend a company, the more that we can keep things safe from the increased number of attacks that we see every day.
As a cybersecurity professional in the future, I really do hope to help people stay safe online as technology continues to advance and as it becomes more integral to everyone's lives. At the end of the day, the internet should be an accessible place for everyone.
All right, well, hopefully you want to learn more about what we are doing with these partnerships, and you can. We have the Cyber Careers Pathways section right out those doors, so please stop by there and see what we're doing. All right, So I think we're off to a pretty good start so far with Oktane, and now we're going to have even more fun this evening. Please make sure you stop by the welcome reception as well, and remember, we have the Just One project. We can pack those bags. And tomorrow we have our main keynote kicking off right here in this room at 9 a.m. So I'd say have a lot of fun tonight, but just don't have too much fun back here at 9 a.m., okay? All right, let's have a great Oktane. Thanks, everyone.